shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They learn so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Oladele Ayorinde. Welcome to the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. Yeah. It is indeed a different one, another edition of the weekly seminars at the Organ House, called the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. For those joining us for the first time, it's important just to acquaint you with some of the things we do. So the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series is it's a music space, an artistic space, and a creative space where we discuss important issues around musical development, particularly African Nigerian music, issues around artistic development, music industry, research, scholarship, and issues, and how these ideas of music making, performance, composition, music scholarship, music education speaks or address broader social issues. Because as you know, music is not just music because it is music. Music speaks and reflects our everyday life. It could be in church, it could be in society, it could be in club, wherever it is, even at the political rally, market square. Music is also an economic phenomenon. It's not just a social phenomenon or spiritual phenomenon. So this is what we do here. But most importantly, this space is a free space for critical engagement. We don't just discuss music because music is music. We critically engage long-time traditions. We explore them to produce, to expand on established knowledge. What we do is we interrogate tradition to create new forms of knowledge, while also doing that to empower people who work in music, who write about music, who perform music, and who negotiate music either in one way or the other, both in professional or artistic way. So again, thank you to the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series today. My name is Oladele Ayorinde. So in this edition, as you could see, or as you have seen, is a different edition because for the obvious reason, we have a visitor, a presenter, a scholar, a musician. I can say that again, not just a musician. So I'm happy to welcome, I call her Sister Dupe Ige. Sister, you are welcome.
Hello, Doc. It's such an honor to be here. Hello, everybody online watching. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us in this just discussion, tete-a-tete, in the Organ House. Thank you, Organ House, for having us.
You are welcome. Thank you for also, coming to the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. We are so happy to have you because, as we progress in this particular edition, some of you will know why I'm so happy to have her because, on many occasions we have musicians, we have, artists, we have scholars out there, doing beautiful things, but in most cases we don't even get to hear them on a personal or levels, to discuss things that they do so well and how these things can help, people who need this knowledge, particularly at a particular level of the social radar, So that is why we think this is so important for us to have this conversation, with her. And I'm happy that she is here in person So again, it's a huge honor having you, a privilege having you around with us.
Thank you
Of course,
so much.
yeah. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. So today's seminar concert is I'm calling it concert seminar because it's going to combine forms of engagement. What I mean by that is we are going to talk, not just talking, discuss important things. We are also going to practicalize a few things. We're going to show you many things. We are going to talk about things that I'm sure you want to hear. Yeah. Let me just keep it there when we get there. And at a particular time, we are going to open the floor for Q&A. I'm sure you have questions following our conversation, performance snippets here and there, demonstration. You really want to ask questions. Why is this what it is? Why are you doing this? Why? Well, how can it's hence I mentioned earlier, it's a free space, open space for knowledge production and advancement of humanity. So that is what we do on a weekly basis at the Organ House concert and seminar series. So I'm happy you are able to make it to this place today. So as in structure I've just explained, we are going to engage with Sister Dupe. Then we are going to open the floor for Q&A, ask questions, use your mic at the time. I will invite you definitely. But for now, let's start from the top. Yes. So, Sister Dupe, thank you so much for coming. We are so happy for having you today.
Thank you.
It's like seeing doing that. Yeah. But today, she's here with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, all those big stuff, they are always sitting here with us today. And please get ready for your questions. Get them ready and get ready for the engagement today. So I'm going to start with a few questions, few things, and as we transition, I will ask questions, do a few things. Again, let's start.
Okay.
Start. Yeah. So my first question for you, though, is that I think I would like to. Some of us don't. Many people name rings,
A bell.
A bell, of course. People see you on screen, project fame, this idol, this it's a season in Nigeria, at least in the last 20 years now, season of what we can call series.
Yeah.
Talent series, do this,
reality
that,
TV shows.
Yeah, reality
talent
TV shows.
shows.
Thank
yes.
you. Yeah. So, and we've seen a lot of you in this, even from the beginning. I think Project Fame seems to be the second.
Yes, it was the second.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have been part of that journey since then
Yes.
till tomorrow and today.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think I think you should introduce yourself particularly some of those who are seeing you for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So my name is Dupe Ige Kachi. I'm popularly known as Ige or Miss Ige. That's due to the fact that I have been on Project Fame from the second year of its inception. I started in season 2, and from there they started. My name, my persona on the program was Miss Ige.
Wow.
So they called me Miss Ige. So I'm more known as Ige or Miss Ige. I'm a singer, a worshiper, songwriter, vocal coach. I'm a mother of 3 boys. I'm wife to 1 Igbo man. I've been singing since I was a child. I've been singing since I was like 7 years old. I thank God for my parents. My parents were in the ministry, in the Anglican church. And that was just a very good breeding ground for me to start my music and start exploring, my talent. I studied electrical electronics engineering at the University of Lagos. Yes, that was my first degree. But music has always been a part of my life. Music has always been, even in school, my lecturers knew me as a singer. So I don't know what. And then I eventually decided to go into academia. So I started my academic journey for music in 2019. I did my postgraduate degree, and then I went on to do my master's, and I am looking forward to starting my PhD.
Wow.
So yeah, and I've been singing, I've had concerts, I've been part of reality TV shows. I'm the vocal coach on the Project Fame reality TV show, and I've, also by God's grace been a part of other reality TV shows. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Definitely, you have actually laid it out, in a more in a perfect way.
Yeah.
And definitely, we are coming back to some of these important, levels, layers you have helped
That
us,
I've, yeah.
lay down. So, let's start from here. I think what I would like to, my first question perhaps is to ask you, how will you describe, the contemporary music landscape in Nigeria and Nigeria as a whole, at least in the last 20 years, which I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
How do you describe it compared to the previous years?
Well, we've grown. There has been a lot of improvement. There's been a lot of explosion. Let me say, of explosion of talent. Nigeria is now, put in the eye of the world. Everybody wants to do collabos with us now. I remember once upon a time, when you have concerts, when you have maybe foreign concerts, even for gospel and international concerts, when they come to Nigeria, you hardly would you find a Nigerian act, on the stage. But now, your international concert will not fly if you do not have a Nigerian act on the stage.
Definitely.
Both gospel and, contemporary and circular. So we have improved, Of course, there's still some pitholes, there's still some disadvantages, there's still some things that need to be improved some more, I mean, in the area of piracy, copywriting, songs and all. But if it comes to talent, and especially because, like you said, in the last 20 years, we've seen a proliferation of reality TV shows.
Definitely.
So that has also helped to, encourage the young ones to come out, show their talent, showcase their talent, and, tell people that, look, I have this to share, and we've seen a lot of growth in the contemporary music area, in Nigeria.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that's also, very deep in terms of, but just to follow up to that,
Yes.
yes, in the last 20 years, we've seen, like you mentioned, particularly from the contemporary sound,
Yes.
what is now known as Afrobeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and of course, you've been part of this movement, even training,
Yeah.
training, providing training, also performance. So, but you also mentioned about piracy. And yeah, how is there any connection, or how has this affected or affecting this growth in terms of piracy? Is there any connection to creativity, artistic work, or
Of course, I mean, but by the time you've done your work and you've recorded it, and before you are even able to put it out there, you're already seeing your songs on the road. It will discourage the artist, because it's what it means is that it's reducing the amount of revenue that you could have had as an artist, knowing fully well that being an artist anywhere in the world, Nigeria included, it is a very expensive venture. So you put in a lot of work, you put in a lot of money, you put in a lot of hard work into it, and then at the end of the day, somebody else takes your song and does your song without permission. That's the copyright. Or you. But right now, it's better because of some online platforms where you can actually sell your songs. Where you can, the streaming platforms where you can put them on, and then the money comes back to you directly. So yes, it has improved. It has really. I mean, come on now, over 20 years, it has improved. But these are just a little things that artists need to know. When you're an artist, you have to know the business of the art, not just the singing and the art itself. You have to know the business aspect of the art too, so that you don't suffer.
the business aspect of it? Yeah, coming back to
Yes, we are.
Yeah, that is very, very important. You see, the business, and that's where I was actually driving at when I asked
Yes,
that question.
yes.
It's not just enough to be a good singer,
Yeah.
to be there, out there performing. Yeah. So there's also a business component that is
Yes.
quite important. But where we'll definitely get to that shortly. So my next question for you is just, you are known for many things, like I said earlier, including professional classical singing, classical, jazz, gospel, vocal, teaching,
Yes.
for different stuff.
Yes.
So then the question for can you briefly tell us about your motivation,
Okay.
for doing particularly your entry?
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Like you mentioned earlier, why not other things?
Okay, so I'm going to attribute this to my family.
Okay.
Right. So we're a very musically inclined family. Yeah. Talking about the Akinolas now from where I come from. As early as I can remember, I know we grew up in a Christian home. So hymns, classical pieces was constantly playing. What was also constantly playing sometimes was high life. Was also, I remember we also played a bit of Fela in the house. Oh yeah, we also played a bit of Afrobeat, yes, at home. So that gave me, of course, my sister too, my late sister, God bless her soul, she played a lot of ABBA, ABBA music. No, ABBA, not ABBA.
Okay, I thought you said ABBA.
ABBA, the
Okay.
artist,
Okay.
the four two men, two women that came
that's a
together.
group.
Yeah,
Oh,
a long
that-
time ago.
that's
Mamma
great.
Mia, here we go again.
Okay.
Mama. She played a lot of that at home.
That's why it's good to have
Yeah. So, and then we played a lot of jazz, Nat King
Jazz.
Cole, Natalie Cole, Ella Fitzgerald. So I had my entry into everything that I'm doing right now is my family, because they laid the foundation for us, for all of us. For me, well, I guess it impacted me a lot, because now I'm doing what we've always done at home, and of course in church, classical singing, solo pieces, all of that. Then teaching, vocal coaching. Well, teaching has always also been in the family. My mother is a teacher. My father too taught. My mother is a teacher. So, and I've always had a knack for helping people to find their true voice. I always realize that even in school, when people are singing, I always say, are you sure you're singing the right way? Are you sure you're breathing properly? So everything that I'm doing right now, my entry point was my family.
Wow.
Was my family.
Family.
Yeah.
What about church?
Well, I said family
Yeah.
bleeds into church, because you cannot mention the Akiolans and not mention church. Yes. Church was, I tell people that they transferred my father from one church to the other. It was as though they were transferring me from
Also,
one choir
of course,
to
to
the
the
other.
other. Yeah.
So definitely that grounded me, especially in church music, classical singing, and all of that. Yes. So
Wow.
so church, family first, because family is an encapsulation of everything. Family, then church.
Okay. I think the last point brings us to the next question, which is then your entry into the Nigerian music and reality TV show. How did you get into this whole thing?
Okay, let me tell you how I got into Project Fame. Project Fame was, like I said, the first year I wasn't a part of it. So I watched it, and it was so interesting to me, because seeing contestants who had no musical training whatsoever come into the house and seeing them, the academy actually was what was my fascination for Project Fame. When I was watching it before I became a part of it, I loved the fact that you could see them getting real-time training, right? Voice training, dancing, acting, and then at the end of the day, they perform, and based on what you have seen them learn, you see them perform that. So that was, for me, was really interesting. And I from the very first year, I'd wished to be part of it. And then the second year came round, and I got a call. From Ben Owewi, telling me I was going to be Ben. Everybody knows Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
He was the music director, and saying that I was going to be a part of this. And there's so many other background stories.
Definitely.
I'd like to leave, but
Definitely.
that was my entry point, into that, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, okay. I think there's another layer to that. Can you
Okay.
tell us about, I mean, your works? Okay, you enter into the academy.
Yes.
Then what were you
I
doing?
was the vocal coach in the academy. So my responsibility was to make sure that the contestants' voices were healthy, right? Give them warm-up exercises and vocal exercises, go through their songs with them, tackle any difficult parts of their songs, try and give them interpretation for their lyrics. Okay, so what are you singing? What images does it bring into your head? How do you interpret this? Make sure their keys are right. Make sure that so the thing about Project Fame is when they give you a song, they've given you the song, you can't change the song. So make sure that you are able to perform that material to the best of your ability. Putting into cognizance your vocal health, your style, the range, and all of that. So that was my job on Project Fame. And on other reality TV shows too, I was on Hymnodia, I was a judge, but I was also the vocal coach. So I was doing two jobs there. I was a vocal coach, and then at the end of the day, I'll still sit as a judge. So just like how Jesus is, he comes, he dies for us, but on the last day, he's our judge. So he's our savior first, and he's our judge. That's how it was for Hymnodia. I was their vocal coach, and then at the end of the day, I sit down and I'm their judge to make sure that what I taught you, what you were taught in the house, you are able to replicate on stage.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. So from Project Fame, which is more circular,
yes,
down to
Hymnodia,
specifically,
more for hymnary.
For hymnary.
Yes, hymns and hymns. Yes.
And that's the question now. So for you, okay, two questions in one, but I will make it very, I'll put it together. So for Project Fame, you were the tutor, teaching them thing interpretation. The question is, Project Fame, of course, has influenced many, layers of Nigerian, even West African popular music specifically.
Yeah.
The question is, the way popular music people think about, or the way they conceive popular music, it doesn't just that music, anybody can do it. So, of course, we are professionals, and professionals are, also watching. But for the layman, the question would be, what is the essence for vocal training for a popular music singer? Somebody who wants to sing live. So that is the first question. That is what people would think. What's the matter? There's no need for me doing all these exercises because I want to sing. Yeah, that's it. Then the question really is, is there a difference between singing classical music, jazz, hymns, and all these canticles, responses, things we do in church, particularly in the Anglican church, which Hymnodia tends to represent to a larger extent. So now the question is, you sing jazz, you are known for classical. I use those words intentionally. You are known for classical, you do jazz, very, very, and popular music or worship, church. Then also when we go to, when we move to the Anglican thing, you've been there many years, Then the question is, what is the difference in doing all this kind of thing? What's the difference? And what is the difference? What are the approaches I can say, or how were you able to manage?
Okay, so you see this question. I remember when I was also in Lazekweme Chorale, and I learned a lot from Prof, but even as far back as that time, I was also, like I said, I grew up in a home where we didn't only listen to classical music, we listened to all kinds of music. So I remember that there was a time Prof asked me, are you sure you're not going to hurt your singing voice because you're doing different styles? I mean, you're doing classical, it's not going to hurt your voice. And it got me thinking because, you see, I tell my students this is a keyboard. On this keyboard, I can play a classical piece, I can play a contemporary piece, I can play a high life piece, I can play a reggae piece. but it's still the same keyboard. And it's an instrument. My voice is an instrument. So I should be able to do a classical piece with my voice, a contemporary piece with my voice, a jazz piece with my voice. The truth of the matter is, voices are given to different specific genres of music. For instance, some people, when you hear them sing, you know, okay, wow, they're born for classical music. They're born for high life.
Definitely.
But you can train yourself to sing other genres of music. You can. It's just like an athlete. I can be a footballer and a basketballer. They're two different games,
Definitely.
but there are rules to the games.
Definitely.
I can learn the rules and still excel at both. That is my mindset. Okay? So, no, it didn't affect me. I love to explore. I love to use my voice to explore. And if you say it affects you, how about voice actors who manipulate their voices to sound like different people or to sound like different characters? Do you understand? So know the rule of the genre that you're going into, learn it well, and then apply those rules. That's what I'm going to say. Now, about what's the purpose of vocal training for someone like that does high life?
Want to sing that with you.
Yeah.
Want to sing that bala.
Yeah, so the thing about that is that your voice is the only instrument in the whole world that you carry on the inside of you. So everything that happens to you affects your voice. I mean, a guitar can be put here in a place. If you have a cold, it doesn't affect the guitar. If you have a headache, it doesn't affect the guitar. Unfortunately, your voice is on the inside of you. So your hormones, everything that happens to you affects your voice. So just because you sing high life music, and high life is not as easy as everybody is thinking, or whatever genre of music you choose, it's still hard work for you to learn and to perform. Your voice needs to be trained so that everything that affects your body, when your body is healthy, when you can breathe properly, you can sing properly. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? How do I hit my high notes? How do I sustain my notes? You can sustain a note in high life. But if you don't know how to do it, how to use your muscles, that's where we come in as vocal coaches. How do I use my muscles to sustain a sound? You know, how do I use my muscles to hit my high notes? Those things, very, very important. And of course, as a vocal coach, I'll tell you the things you should eat, things you should not eat, things you should drink, things you should not drink.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why you need a vocal coach.
Wow. Okay. Dear friends and colleagues, today this is the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series, and we are having the one and only Miss Dupe Ige. So, if you are joining us for the first time, you are welcome. So, we've started from somewhere. We are moving towards another layer. But get your questions ready. Yeah. Thank you. So, I think I'm still going to ask, regarding what the need, and also you also mentioned there's a component, there's another health component, diet in this singing thing. We are still going. We need to unpack that.
Yes, please.
Sometimes when you see people and they tell them, don't drink cold water, they tell you. In fact, during the rehearsal, that's when they are even ordering the cold stuff.
Yeah.
So and they go there, they do it. So for them, it's normal to do all these things. So when you tell them, don't do this, don't do that, they tell you, what is the need?
Yes.
What is it? They even see you as those
classical singers.
So
yes.
there's this, there's this division.
Yeah.
Not only physically, but also ideologically. They see you, this is a classical musician, this one cannot do what we are doing.
Yeah.
Just play
Yeah.
But I'm happy that you are, taking us to that level, showing us that, look, it is just, it's the same voice.
Yes.
It's like the same hand.
Yes.
You can use a hand for, to carry something.
Yes.
You can use it to play drum.
Yeah.
You can use it to wear your clothes.
In fact, you can use it to play the jazz drum. You can use it to play bata.
Yes.
You can use it to play gong. So it's the same hands, but they're different rules.
Yeah. So that is just the okay. Let's stop there and let's take a break. So you just spoke about what we call intersectionality. That's a big drama in music and music.
For academicians.
Yeah, that simply means ability to bring many things together, intersections, ability to be a singer of jazz, of classical, of contemporary, of worship, or leading worship, and also being ability, to do many things, and also to talk about them, having knowledge. That is what. Sorry for the big grammar, but it's a scholarly platform, artistic platform, and it's a music department. So this is why you need to come here. So we do all these things together. So let's take a break. Let's do a classical piece.
Okay.
The Holy City.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fantastic.
At least some of our friends will see, okay, let's start from somewhere. Let's do the classical piece. After that, then we'll also do other forms. So by the end of this conversation, we will have, touched on classical.
Yes.
Contemporary.
Yes.
Jazz.
Yep.
And every, at least to give a sample of not just talking about it, but also doing it. And that's what makes musicians who they are, particularly those who study professionally, So, friends, we want to do Holy City by Stephen Adams. Yeah. I hope you take your note and follow us gradually. Yeah.
Last night I lay a-sleeping, there came a dream so fair. I stood in old Jerusalem, beside the temple there. I heard the children singing, and ever as they sang, methought the voice of angels from heaven in answer. Methought was changed, new earth there seemed to be. I saw the holy city beside the tideless sea. The light of God was on its streets, the gates were open wide, and all who would might enter, and no one was denied. No need of moon or stars by night, or sun to shine by day. It was the new Jerusalem that would not pass away. It was the new Jerusalem that would not pass away. Jerusalem, sing, for the night is o'er. Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna forevermore.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
My
Yes.
pleasure, my pleasure.
Thank you. Wow. Okay. Yes, let's move on with the conversation. Yeah. Wow, wow. Yeah. Yes. How do you feel?
Wow, this is one of my favorite pieces, classical pieces. So I feel very happy, honored to be able to do this piece again.
Again, wow.
Yeah, it's like I just did a workout
Workout.
in my tummy.
And that's my next question actually. So the question is, you as a professional singer and vocal coach, do you have a specific approach to singing, workout, or training, specific to good production, or singing something more technical in this context?
Okay, so I mean, the different vocal approaches. I mean, there's the speech level singing by Seth Riggs. There's the Estelle vocal approach by Joe Estelle. I mean, there are different kinds of vocal approaches, right? And they all have their merits. And so so the first thing that I always tell my students, I tell everybody, is breathe right, sing right. I mean, that is from another pedagogue. I can't remember his name right now. He's very popular for saying breathe right, sing right. So the first thing that I always do is I make sure that singers understand what breath management is about, how to use their breath management muscles to sing. Because most times they put pressure on the muscles of their throat.
Definitely.
And then they lose their voices because they don't understand how to engage their breath muscles, their intercostals, their diaphragm, and all the other muscles, just to know how to project their voices and to sustain their breaths. Okay, and I'm very big on that. I'm very big on posture because your body is your instrument, not just your voice. Your whole body is your instrument. So if you're not properly aligned, your voice, no matter how fantastic you sing, it won't come out properly. You will not be able to express yourself with clarity, right? If your posture isn't right. So I'm big on breath management, I'm big on posture, and then I'm big on clarity of tone, clarity of lyrics, of words, pronunciation, articulation. So if you're singing in Yoruba, let it be Yoruba. If you're singing in English, let it be English. Learn how to use your articulators to pronounce and to enunciate properly. You know, so those but most times when I deal with students, my lessons are usually tailor-made to meet the needs.
Tailor-made.
Yes, to meet the needs of the student. So it's really student-centered. You know, so I don't like to use one size fits all, because we're not all the same. If we have two different soprano singers here, we will sound very different.
Yeah.
So your needs are not the same as the next person's needs. But basically, the three things that I look out for are your breath management, your posture, and clarity. Clarity of tone, clarity of words.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So, well, I'm still going to follow up on that, but let's, we just perform a classical piece.
Yes.
So, let's now move to the other side and see, you know, to have a contest, you know, we've just done a classical. So let's do a popular life tune. Let's say like Oni Dodo, Oni Moi Moi, you know. So then to have a balance to be able to situate this conversation properly, particularly when it comes to vocal production.
Yeah.
So the question here is, what is the need for, you know, vocal training or good or professional singing when it comes to popular music or things we do normally in church, for albums, you know, all those things. Yeah. So let's do Oni Dodo, Oni Momo, the popular Nigerian life tune. Yo. popular song.
Yeah.
Then the question now for us, is, you have done classical, contemporary. Yes. Then you have been able to merge these two different worlds, different world. Like I'm saying different world because, as you mentioned earlier, this doing this kind of or embody or acting this way, being able to do everything in this way entails that you are conscious of many things when you do classical.
Yes.
You are conscious of many things when you do contemporary.
Yes.
Of course, there are times where you can cross and you use classical style in contemporary, and even sometimes you can also use contemporary, style to hold on to a few things in classical music. Then the question is, how do you come about, what does your mind or your creative instinct or
Okay.
artistic instinct tells you when you
Okay.
want to perform classical music?
Okay.
And at the same point, you need to perform contemporary or
Yes.
jazz. How does that switch
Okay.
occurs, operates?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I was saying before, you need to know what the rules are for classical music, for performing classical music, and for doing contemporary. Even the sound production, the way you sound, the tone is different.
Yeah.
For me, for classical music, I know I always refer to my students. I tell my students, when you want to sing, especially for classical, think like you're British royalty. So
Okay.
you're like, oh, hello. That's the feel. So your larynx drops just a bit. You feel your sound is more. You place your sound more. Should I say backwards, so that you feel bigger. The sound is bigger. I can do. Let me see if I can do a quick demonstration of maybe 2 lines or
Okay.
a line in maybe contemporary and classical.
Okay,
Or
that's
let
it.
me just do Amazing Grace. Amazing. Oh, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. My embouchure, the way I even pronounce my words, is more deliberate for classical music. My larynx is low, and my vibrato starts from the very beginning of the note to the end. Amen. But for contemporary, Amazing Grace, same key, different production, different sounds, different feels. Amazing, and my vibrato doesn't start from the very beginning of the note; starts from the middle of the note. It's not as big as classical music is. My larynx is a bit higher, so you can hear the difference in the sound production. So when I'm doing classical music, I know that I am in a mode. I know I have, I'm thinking, I'm more deliberate with my movements. My sound is cleaner, my sound is bigger, my vibrato starts from the very beginning of the note. I am pronouncing my words deliberately. My embouchure, the way my mouth is positioned, is different from when I'm doing contemporary music.
Wow.
So there's always that switch, right? And it wasn't always like that, because when I was much younger, I remember I recorded an album of folk songs, and I sounded so classical, Kulumbu, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, Kulumbu was how I was sounding, because I didn't know any better. That you're not doing a strict classical piece, so you can change your style. So you have to know the rules of whatever genre of music and stick to it.
So you mean there are rules even for contemporary singing?
Yeah,
Like what and what, and like, is this what you just explained?
like I just explained,
Okay.
for contemporary singing, your vibrato shouldn't start from the very beginning of the note, because you will sound classical. For instance, Amazing Grace. It's already sounding, because we're very big on vibrato in classical singing. But you can ease into your vibrato for contemporary singing. Amazing Grace. Another thing is riffs and runs, what we call ad-libs or ad libitum. That's where it starts from. Right? Riffs and runs, where you do more riffs and runs in contemporary music than in classical. Classical music, you don't do riffs and runs, are in specific designated places for classical pieces. But for contemporary, you can add riffs and runs to your music. Don't do it too much because then it will be an overkill, right? And even for jazz, the riffs and runs are different.
Oh, okay.
You're scatting in jazz, you're using crazy scales in jazz music. But for contemporary music, you use the pentatonic scales to do your riffs and runs,
Yeah.
right? Do, re, mi, sol, la, ah, 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 ah. Yeah, so, right? And you can go on and on and on that, for contemporary music. For jazz, is a whole different ball game.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
part.
So those are the rules. Those are some of the rules.
Wow. Definitely. For some of us joining this platform for the first time, this is the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. Yes, I'm sure you are getting the feel of what I mean. So what we do here is we discuss important practical issues, both in music and from music to outside of music. In other words, I mean, we engage artistic ideas, performance, creative, industry, professional, also in relation to the broader social context of Nigeria, Africa, and the global world. So today, we are happy to have the one and only Ms. Dupe Ige. I'm sure you know her very well. And of course, you already seen what, at least a kind of, snippets of some of those things we know her for so well. So thank you so much again.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so my next question is, let's move now. You are into music, big shows, training, all the stuff, performance. Then also, you are also into research.
Yes.
Yeah, you are also, the other time you used that word academy, and I was thinking, are you not part of them? Are you not one of them? Yes, now, I was just asking myself, oh, she's saying that, are you not one of them? Yeah.
You're my seniors.
Oh, well, in the academic world, is there anything senior? Is there anything called senior? I don't know anymore.
Well.
Yeah. Your entry into research, can you tell us about, your research, including motivation for choosing research ideas, focus, and themes that you have been exploring in your research?
Okay, so like I said, I started off with electrical electronics engineering in University of Lagos. That was my first degree. But music had always been a passion, and teaching had always been a passion. And I'd always wanted to go into scholarly work. Always. I don't know why, but it has just always been a dream of mine, to investigate why things just investigate musical things. To investigate. So I took that bold step in 2019 to do my postgraduate degree, to change course from engineering to music, and especially music education. Even though I'm a performer, I'll probably go into performance later on. I'm just a new entrant into the academy world, or the scholarly world, and my focus right now is it's basically on everything that I have experienced in life. For instance, I remember growing up, music was a huge part of our lives and in our schools too, and now what I see is that there's a dearth of music education, so to speak, especially in our senior secondary schools. We don't see many people doing music in senior secondary schools anymore. And I'm wondering why. Is it because what they see on their TV screens as per their music icons is not what they see in their classrooms? It's not, it's not the same kinds of songs, it's not the same kind of feel. They're inundated with music on their social media, on their TVs. They see all these musicians, and then when they come to class, they're asked to do lines and spaces.
4 lines.
Yes, 5 lines and four spaces, treble clef, G clef. They're asked to look at Beethoven, Bach, which is fantastic. For me, it's exciting, but not for everyone. So one of the things that I am looking forward to is seeing how we can use aspects of reality TV shows where I have been involved in, whether we can just take an aspect of that and see how we can excite the children again to want to study music, to bring what they see on their screens into their classrooms. I know it sounds like a tall order, but it's something that I'm willing to explore. How do I get children to get excited about learning music again, the way it was for us during when we were growing up? How can I get children to get excited about learning music again, to take them forward? Of course, in GSS, in junior secondary school, music is compulsory in the terms of CCA, cultural and creative arts, right? Which is a combination of three aspects. There's music, there's theater, or there's dramatic arts, and then there's fine art, right? But then you see that after that, nobody wants to continue, with music anymore. So how can I use what I have experienced to excite these kids and get them to want to do music again to whatever level they want to, to go? That's one aspect. And then another thing is just what we've been talking about. There's an article I'm working on now on seeing how, how do singers, church singers, especially in the Orthodox church, in the Orthodox world, how do they fare singing, not hymns now, not classical pieces, but contemporary normal praise and worship? Is there a switch, just like you were asking me, is there a switch that occurs when they sing classical on their hymns and then they now have to sing praise and worship, thanksgiving? Is there a switch in voice texture? What happens in their mind? So that's another thing I'm querying right now. But really, what I'm really working on is how to use reality TV shows, music reality TV shows, to get children to be more excited about learning music.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I think, yes, I get what you're talking about. I understand clearly, because particularly from the first point you mentioned, that people generally, not just children, not just children, people learn from what they see, and things that attracts, things that are available to them, things that inspires them. So the difference is that at home, on their screen, they see something different.
Yes.
In the name, under the label
music.
So when they go to school the next day, the music they encounter is another level, something different.
Yes.
So, and it's not just a different idea of music, but also, requires them to struggle.
Yes.
To memorize.
Yes.
To do this, just like too technical and very, 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 very detached.
Yes.
From their own real life.
Yes,
it's like
experiences.
They are living their own world of music and go into that world temporarily within the school hour. And after the exam, that's
it.
And that's why somebody will tell you, oh, in my secondary school we did this, I know treble clef, I know five lines, four spaces, I know this, I know back, I know this.
Yes.
But the question is, can they put this in together to make sense? No.
Yes.
Because they are detached from that reality.
Yeah.
It's like wearing masks temporarily and dropping the mask, and that's all.
And that's it.
So I think I really appreciate the kind of research and your thought about this kind of connection, because it's very important. Then the question then is, how do you want to go about this? Knowing fully that the system in Nigeria, particularly the educational system, I won't say they don't know. They know, but in terms of policy, we are not there. I'm not even sure if there's any policy anyway. But in terms of policy, there's no... the connection is very, very ambiguous in terms of the reality of the people. I'm talking about music particularly.
Particularly, yes.
But, what, So that is...
it's a tall order, Doc, I must tell you. And it can be very overwhelming. Because I remember when I was doing my master's thesis, and I needed to go to the field, to secondary schools, just to ask, teachers and students alike if, they are conversant with reality TV shows. What reality TV shows are they conversant with? Have they seen any form of music education in these reality TV shows they've watched? Do they use anything remotely similar to what they see on reality TV shows? Do they use it in their classrooms? And it wasn't very encouraging because the point I'm even trying to get to is there's a particular area in a local government that I do not want to mention that doesn't have one single music teacher in the whole area. So, and we understand that music is such a big part of life, so if there's no teacher to teach, how do the students even begin to make any headway, right? So it even goes back to not just, providing this for the students, but also teacher training. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Definitely.
Making, so it's a huge task, I've got to tell you, and it's part of my research. I don't have a suitable answer right now. I have to tell you the truth because, it's a Herculean task. It's a Herculean task, but it's something that I really want to delve deep into. Do you understand? Because no child left behind is one of the key, I don't remember what it is. Philosophy on education.
Mantra,
Yes, no child left behind. And especially in the area of music. Music is life. Music, you have music from the day you were born till the day you die.
Definitely.
So how do we incorporate all these aspects of music even into our classrooms? How do we use them? It's something that I'm querying right now.
Wow. Thank you so much for what you do and the kind of research you have structured out. It's quite important, and I will also invite some of our friends to also let's get into this kind of thinking. The idea is not just doing research. It's about thinking creatively and engaging possible solutions.
Yeah.
The solution is not just by doing computer STEM. There are basic things that shape people's lives.
Yes.
That we even prepare them for STEM.
Yes.
If somebody is not psychologically balanced, how do they want
How
to
do you want to,
So, and fields, spheres of life like music, sound, word, there are things, and if these things are well curated, taught in school, they have potentials, to shape people's life for good. Of course, we've seen cases, around of how music education, good music education. Of course, our presenter of today is a good case study. In this case, I know when you were doing your own music, in one way or the other, you are being mentored by good professional people. They might not even be professors or music teacher trained, but these people understand that, okay, this is what we need to do, and this is how it's going to shape this person. And today, we are. Oh, of course, that's another story. Definitely. But I am happy that you are taking this kind of challenge, particularly from the popular music perspective.
Yeah.
Because if we look at it from another angle, popular music is not just popular because we want to call it popular. The idea of popular itself, it also entails things that are germane to every day, things that people encounter. When you wake up in the morning, the sound you hear.
Yes.
When you go to church, the sound you hear.
Yes.
When you of course, classical music can also be called
popular.
Yeah. So context now matters now.
Yes.
Context matters. For some people, classical music is popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for some people, popular can also be folk song, can be different.
Yes.
Yeah. But in a specific way of understanding, engaging this idea is that popular in this context is not even limited to let's say Onidodo, Onimoimo, popular music. Also entails good music, classical music, whatever you sing that makes sense to you and your world is popular for you. There are things that shape your life, and that's why when people, in most cases, when they talk about popular music, even in scholarship, they tend to attach it to commercial music, commercial media, popular market, and because they know by saying it from commercial perspective, they know, okay, talking about
Circular,
circulation,
yes.
production, how it circulates here and there. But this circulation is not also it's not just about producing music. It's also about things that people grab by consciously or unconsciously on a daily basis in their own life. And this is powerful. They shape us even be more, far stronger than things we read in school or courses we take in school. I'm going to leave that for you to further research, or to our scholars,
or to me,
our researchers, yes, to to help us get out of that reality. Okay. Yeah. So let's go to the next question quickly. Let's go to the next question and see, because our friends want. I'm sure they have questions. They have things they want to ask. They also have, other advice on areas they want advice from Ms. Dupe Ige today. Yeah. So the next question then is, yes, as a singer, vocal coach, scholar, what are the challenges you have faced in the Nigerian music industry, and how have you navigated these challenges?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
We
gosh.
want to know. Gosh.
Okay, well, so as a singer, as a vocal coach, and as a scholar, okay?
Yeah.
As a singer, one of the challenges that I faced was identity, in the sense that the world I was surrounded by, for instance, like a crisis of identity. You are used to this style of music, but out there they're expecting you to do something totally different. Do you understand?
Okay.
So the way I overcame that was just being true to myself. I cannot be a poor copy of something. I must be an original. I must be an original. So who are you as a singer? What's your style? What's your thrust? Do not fall into the trap of doing what everybody else is doing just because that's where the money is. I want to blow.
I want to blow.
Yeah, that's where the money is.
Okay.
When you carve that niche for yourself, it might be hard because you're probably going to do something that hasn't been done before, or in a style that hasn't been done before. But stick to it, because if you now try to do what everybody else is doing, you'll be around a square peg in a round hole. You won't fit.
In a round hole.
You would be always uncomfortable with yourself just because you're trying to please your audience.
Audience. Wow.
Okay? So that's that. That's one. Of course, we said piracy. Then it was piracy because once you release your album like this, the next thing you see on the streets of Lagos, your cassette is everywhere. They are coming to sell your cassette to you.
Copy of your own work
to you, right?
Wow.
Right? And then copyright. But now, of course, there are online platforms where you can utilize, you can settle down, do your production, put it there, and then the money is coming to you, right? As a vocal coach, it was always self-doubt. When I started being a vocal coach, there were not too many vocal coaches around. And you always want, even till now, if I'm going to be truthful, sometimes when I think about my students, I'm wondering, am I really making impact? Am I really helping them? And that's why it's good for you to always have feedback. From your students.
Definitely.
Tell me are you okay? We always have evaluation, beginning of the stretch, middle of the stretch, and at the end of the stretch. So middle, I say, okay, what couldn't you do before that you can now do? What's your breath capacity now? I remember when I started off being a vocal coach, it was a friend of mine who had always wanted me to coach him. I'll say his name here, Proverbs. I don't know if he's watching. He's a rapper. Okay. He's also a fantastic photographer now. He has changed his name to Ami. Okay. Yeah. He had always been asking me to give him lessons, and I'd never listened. One day, he came to my house and told me, today, sis, you are giving me those lessons.
Lessons.
And that was how I started.
Wow.
Right? So I know there might be many vocal coaches out there or potential vocal coaches who are saying, am I enough? Do I have enough to even start? No self-doubt. Believe in yourself. My pastor will say it is ready, fire, and then aim. Not ready, aim, and fire. You get yourself ready, and then you take the step, and then you make the adjustments as you go. Right? And then as a scholar, I'm just a newborn to this scholarly world.
Well, I won't agree with that.
I am a newborn.
Yeah.
One of the things that frustrated me the most is the fact that we hardly had papers, what's it called?
Articles.
Access to articles. When I started, I mean, it's either you have to pay for it. It's not, and you will pay, Neo. You will pay, of course. It's it's your work. You have to. But the point is, because I was so hungry to learn, I was always searching, and I click on one site and, sorry, to redirect you to where you have to either go through your school or something. So for me, that was. But let me tell you the way I navigated it. I have people like this in my life now. Dr. Ayorinde, who will help me, who I can harass to get me. And then, of course, another way is I'm also a member of some academic platforms like Anim and Somen, where, they throw, some articles. So you can actually, so that for me has helped me a lot. It has helped me a lot, And another thing that was a bit of a challenge, which I'm working through, is merging my experience as an artist all these years into my scholarly work. When you've been doing something practically all these years, and then you come into a classroom and where you are now being taught, what to do and what not to do. It's an advantage and it's also a disadvantage, I know about this, but now I'm being told that this might not be it, or you might do this in a different way. So I'm learning how to merge my life, my life as a performer, all these years of experience, and my newfound life as a scholar.
Wow. Newfound life as
a
scholar. But you've been teaching for many years.
I have. Well, there's something that being in the four walls of a classroom does for you. It keeps you humble. In spite of all your years of experience. It keeps you humble. It makes you know that there's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot to learn. And it opens your mind to new horizons. I'm telling you, there are things that I never knew before that I'm learning now, and it's very interesting to me, So even though I have been teaching, I have been teaching for, I don't want to give away my age, for many years. I've been teaching voice for many years, but I've had to unlearn and relearn some things, even now that I am in my scholarly pursuits.
Okay, let's take one more question. We'll do one performance, particularly in the areas of jazz now.
Okay.
Then we'll open to our friends and colleagues who are waiting for you, to hear and to also ask. I'm sure you have questions. They have questions for you. So let's do one more question. So, okay, I think the first one is there. This will be around your advice, I think.
Okay.
It's two in one, but let me merge it together, and that is now you have many paths. You have crossed many paths. You are, you're navigating different unrelated areas. You are a singer. You are a vocal coach. You are also a scholar. You are a teacher. Then you are also a performer.
I'm a gospel artist.
Gospel artist. Yeah, you direct choir, you train choir, you manage people. So then the question is, what does this mean for aspiring singers and musicians who want to work professionally in the Nigerian music industry? What would be your advice on the one hand? Then on the second hand, what would be your advice for aspiring, singers, particularly women, who wants to work in the music industry? Two in one.
The first one sounds like the second one.
Yeah.
The first one, let me see if I can get you clearly. That's marrying.
Yes. Connections between gospel and secular music, the connection, how to blend them, What does it mean for contemporary singers? How the basic advice for them, can they because I'm asking this question, you mentioned identity earlier.
Yes.
So I'm asking also because over the years I've gone to places, work with singers, work with choir, work with band, even play jazz sessions, and you see them, they sing so well, people sing well, but they ask you, I also want to learn how to sing classical song. I want to do this. So you could tell that despite their professionalism, technical, proficiency in what they do, they still have identity crisis. Others, classical, they sing so well, they sing perfectly, but in church, there is this stigma. They tell them, you are just a classical singer, Jerry. In fact, the pastor will say, okay, can we have the band now? Give us danceable music. Sister, so, go to the mic. You see? Or when you go to a meeting where you want to discuss programs in church, or you are planning for a program in church, in a church that, then you see people come around, they tell you, you are just a contemporary singer, you don't know about classical music now. You are just a classical musician, I'm talking about contemporary, I'm talking about alujo, tunga. Yeah, that's why that's the essence for the first question. And the second question is now, okay, somebody who is bold enough, okay, I want to sing and I want to work professionally. What does it mean? What would be your advice from your own trajectory?
So the advice will probably cover for both questions.
Okay.
Be yourself. The only way you can know who you are is when you go to the person who created you, your manufacturer. So go to God and ask, how did you make me? What do you want me to accomplish on the face of this earth? You cannot do without that. You have, because if you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything.
Definitely.
Yeah? And if your identity is that you can do all of these things, I can do classical, I can do jazz, I can do contemporary, I can do alujo. If that's your identity, embrace it. Just learn how to work it. It takes time. It takes time, and if you don't put in the time, you will not be able to connect all these worlds together.
Yeah.
So, but please, do not be a fake copy when you can be a genuine original. All the people who you have heard their names now, they paid the price for being original. They paid the price. You also have to pay the price. How much do you rehearse? What's your practice time like? Right? How many concerts do you go for? How many people influence you? Who are your mentors? Who are your vocal mentors? Who are your, instrumental mentors? Right? So please, I'm going to really beg you, young people, I know it is hard, even if you are, doing classical or you're doing contemporary, whatever it is you're doing. Remember what I said at the first period. Your voice is an instrument. Your voice is an instrument. As long as there is no limitation on your mind, you can do whatever it is you want to do. Your voice is an instrument. You can do whatever it is you want to do with your voice. You sing with your mind through your voice. So if you're a classical singer and that is your style, that is your genre, work on it. Don't be lazy with it. Work on it. Explore. Expand. If you're a classical singer and you want to do contemporary music, delve into the world. Listen to music. Don't let anybody stop you. Because you only have one life, right? And nobody can live it for you. Okay? So, and apart from that, also know the business of the music world. You cannot just stay in your little corner and not know what are the platforms that I can stream on that can get me money. People use TikTok, people use Instagram, use it for your art. So that people can see you, visibility, be out there, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. There's something great on the other side of fear. So conquer your fears and move into your greatness. I don't know if that has helped. I hope that has helped.
I hope so. I hope so. So thank you so much. Thank you for that. That's quite powerful, though. That's powerful. Thank you so much. And I am very sure our friends and colleagues, particularly those who need this kind of, word today or this information, I'm sure it gets to them because informations are powerful. They are what constitute and shape the world that we live today. And that's why we are here, you see. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So let's switch again.
Okay.
We have done classical, right?
Yes.
We've done experiments. So let's experiment something in the areas of jazz at least. So somebody will not be annoyed that they did classic and they did highlight. Why didn't they do jazz? At least. So that person, this is for you.
The one we haven't even explored is like a worship song.
A worship
for the
song.
real worshippers in the house.
For the worshippers. Okay, we might close with the worship song then.
Okay.
Don't worry. Yeah. Yeah.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Woo! The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry.
we have Dio, we have David, we have
Victor
Victor,
and
then we
Sam.
also have Sam. Yeah, thank you. These are students from Mountain Top University Music Department. So thank you for helping us
Thank
today.
you,
Thank you
Tayo.
so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sam. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank
Victor.
you.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you, David. Thank you. Yeah. So how do you feel?
I feel good.
Oh,
I love to sing.
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
So should we do the worship song after the questions?
Mm,
Question and answer, or do we do it now?
let's do the question. We'll come back to
Yes.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So friends and colleagues, I think it's time for Q and A. So if you have questions, if you have anything you want to ask Ms. Dupe today, you are welcome to ask. You are welcome to, yeah. You just raise your hand. I'm sure you are all familiar with the Zoom network and the Zoom, operation. So use the emojis. Just raise your hand, and I will invite you to use your mic and to, ask your question. So the platform is open. Please, you are welcome to ask questions. Okay. Okay. You are welcome to ask questions. Let's see one way there. Okay. Okay. Question. Perhaps on things we've discussed today and things that you personally want to, inquire about. Okay, Gladys, Eleni, conquer your fears and move into your greatness. Thank you for sharing. Oh, you are welcome, Gladys. Yes, question, friends and colleagues, in case you have. Okay. Yes, we have Toby Ajayi. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you so much. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
Yes.
now.
Also, good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Ayorinde. Thank you, Mrs. Kachi. I like to call you Miss Ige, if you don't mind. All right.
No, I don't mind
Thank
at
you for
all.
the session this afternoon.
You're welcome.
It was really an interesting one. I got quite hooked and interested when you started talking about your interest in going into the classroom and your diversifying into academia. So you mentioned something that classroom music is unable to connect the realities in the world with what is being taught in the classroom. I'd like some clarification with that. Are you referring to public schools in Nigeria, or you're referring to private schools in Nigeria, or you're referring to all the schools in Nigeria? That's one.
Okay.
Two, so I'd like to draw on the fact that there are several factors that could influence the current music education in Nigeria. But before we delve into that, I'd like to clarify which aspect you're looking at, because context is very important. Location, if you're carrying out your research, you need to know
Definitely.
where you focus in. Are you talking about all the schools in Nigeria? Are you talking about international schools in Nigeria? Are you talking about private schools in Nigeria? Or are you talking about public schools in Nigeria?
Definitely public schools in Nigeria.
Okay,
Because
so,
because
okay.
they are the private schools in Nigeria have more how do I put it now? They have more access to funds, really, right? And the public schools in Nigeria. I'm talking about the public schools in Nigeria. My research was even on the public schools in Nigeria.
Okay, great. Because currently the public school music curriculum, I can't even say they really have a music curriculum per se, because it's merged. It's cultural and creative arts. So with that, it makes it a really, really complex a complex situation for them. So you can have a public school could hire an artist, a fine artist, and expect that person to teach music and cultural arts, which is we all know is a
Which
very
is
is a
almost
tall order for
impossible.
that person.
Yes.
Yeah, almost impossible. So yeah, I get it now. All right. So if you're looking at that, yeah, it's it it's
You
going
have a
to
second
encompass
question?
different stakeholders in terms of the Ministry of Education and right from the top, actually, because it really cannot be dealt with just going into the secondary schools, because it has to do with the Ministry of Education, how the curriculum have been designed. You have to go back to curriculum
Policy,
development. So
policy,
yeah, the
curriculum
policy, yeah.
development.
So, all right, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Can we have Dr. Agatha Holland? Can we have you, please?
Hello, good morning. Good morning from here.
Good morning.
I'm so happy to see you, Miss Ige. I've been a staunch supporter of you, and also you have actually been a mentor to me for a long time. So it's
Please,
great to
what's your name?
Agatha.
it's Agatha.
I don't want to scream. I don't want to. Hi, Augusta. How you doing?
So well. I am doing very well. I'm
Oh,
so
wow.
excited. When I saw your flyer, I was so excited to
Gosh.
hear and read from you.
Oh, it's so good to hear from you, Augusta. Oh my word. How you doing?
I am doing very well. I'm doing
These are
very
my
well.
seniors
Thank
that have gone before me to into this
Excuse me,
scholarly work that we're talking about.
oh,
Okay,
I
Augusta, shoot.
I will never forget you. Like when you sang Rejoice Greatly at Moson, like that was the beginning of my interest in singing
Whoa.
classical music. All these years, and this was a long, long time ago. So
Don't
you
try,
are
don't give everybody the idea of how old I am. Don't say it was a long time ago. It was just recent
so
now, just a few
this
years.
is this this is just a few years back.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
I guess my question is, I'm so inspired by you having like delving into all these musical genres, the jazz, the classical, of course, and the contemporary, even the gospel. My question is, how do you practice? This is as straightforward as I can get with my question. It's like, how do you practice? When do you practice? What is your practice routine like for these genres? Do you say today I'm singing classical, I'm practicing classical, so I'm only going to sing classical? Or do you, within a space of one day, do you mix these genres up? Um, yeah, I guess that's my question.
okay, so um, I practice all the genres every day, right? It now depends on, I now focus on one particular genre when I have a performance of that genre, right? And now focus on it, okay? So, but basically, I do my warm ups, I do my warm up exercises, I do go into the work for the day. So, the work for the day, if I don't have any, if I don't have any performance, so to speak, I can do my vocalizes, do my vocal exercises, my vocalizes, do my scales, run my scales, then listen. I do a lot of listening. I like to do a lot of listening, right? So I listen a lot. I listen to classical singers. I listen to contemporary singers. I listen to high life singers. I listen. I listen a lot because we tend to forget the aspect of listening.
Yeah, yeah.
we're quick to rush into let me sing, let me
grab the
sing,
mic.
right? And one thing I always say is that you sing through your voice, but with your mind, but through your voice. So, and fill your mind with, wonder. Fill your mind with sounds that you would like to replicate. Do you get? So I do a lot of listening. Now, when I have a concert, maybe I have a classical concert or I have a contemporary concert, and now my rehearsal or my practice regiment is now tailor-made to that genre. Does that help?
Yes, this helps a lot. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
hear from you again, sis.
Thank you,
Same here.
Thank you, Dr. Agatha. I'm sure you also get, so you are, I'm looking forward to your next iLife album, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and your reggae album, man. Thank you so much, Dr. Olan. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's always nice having your voice here. Yeah, can we have Gladys? Gladys Efeni, please, can we have you?
Okay, good evening.
Hi,
Thank you
Gladys.
thank you so much for this evening. I'm so excited to be here. I've learned so much today. Yes, and I wish to connect with you after now. I have a question, and my question is on as a music scholar, as a performer that is a scholar, which you are now. What aspect of the music theory What aspect of music theory do you think a music performer should get interested in, really get to know so well for you to be able to do well in this field? That's just my question. Thank you, ma'am.
Music theory. As a performer. That's a very good question. Well, I mean, what aspects of music theory shouldn't you get yourself acquainted with as a performer? Okay. I read music, right? So, for me, as a performer, it will be good. It's an added advantage for you to know your notes, your music. Really, 5 lines and 4 spaces. It's nice, right? If you don't want to go that far, you can do tonic sulfur. That's what everybody does now, tonic sulfur, right? You should know it. So you should be able to recognize sound, the relationship between sounds, how it relates to what you're singing, so that you're not on one key and then your keyboardist is on an adjacent key, right? So learning the rudiments of music, 5 lines, 4 spaces, what key am I on, what's the notes, the time value of notes, and also directions, crescendo, diminuendo. I know those things sound like they are big grammar, but it just helps so that adagio, tempo, poco a poco, things like that. Know them, right? Let me see. What else? Music theory.
I think for music
theory.
Yeah, I think to start with, the first idea is to understand what is theory. I think we need to break that down because people, and I'm happy that Gladys is asking this. Thanks so much, Gladys. So this is giving us opportunity to also engage some things now. So the question is, what is theory? What is the need for theory? Theory in basic sense, basic context now is that things that you know that help you do something or explanation behind something. So Ms. Ige was talking about vocalist, how she switched, what she's talking about, okay, how you sing classical song, vibrato, she does this, she does that. Those are theoretical explanations. So everything she explains, we can have them on paper in technical languages, and those are the things people get to learn in school. they call rudiment of music.
Rudiments of music.
Yeah. So the terms like vibrato. What is vibrato? When you sing and you lay emphasis and you tighten up, you grab from move. Okay, I think you can
The
change better.
oscillation.
Yeah, oscillation.
So the
yeah.
natural oscillation from one note to the other.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and every instrument has it. You know,
Yes.
every stringed instrument
Even
has that.
voice.
Even voice, of
Yeah.
course. You know.
So these things are things we hear every day. If you go to some part, let's use Lagos or even Ogun State, for instance. There are communities where when you see people sing, you hear these oscillations naturally. You think, this person is singing. So you get that vibe. But for common people, they just see it as singing, is demonstrating. But for musical performer, for scholars, who are into this business, there are names for all these things we do. Even if you sing Apala, if you sing reggae, if you sing all these things, the moment you do it, there's a name for it. And when you go, and these are the things the people put together at different eras over the years, and we call them music theory. So you start learning about, okay, how do you start learning how to write? You read music in professional terms.
What does this sound mean?
Yeah,
what's
does
the
this
name
mean?
of this sound?
Duration of sound.
Duration of sound.
2 counts, 2 beats, shorter one, longer one. These are all basic things. So with that, the idea of theory is explanation behind a practical action, like what we've been doing. So then the question is, what theory do you need to do your music as a performer? So that's the next question now.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. Really, that's what I feel. It's everything, right? So that you go from the era of vamping to actually knowing exactly what it is you're playing, right? Understanding chords.
Yeah, sound.
Yes, sound.
Sound relations,
Yes. What's chord 1? What's chord 4?
So if I'm singing this, I am actually singing
on
this.
in harmony.
Yes, with this, yeah.
In unison with what is being played, with everybody else. So I don't know if that has answered your
I think Gladys, I think you are
question,
right. You
Gladys.
should just follow up with Miss Ige for those lessons. Yeah, I'm sure she will definitely help you,
All
Definitely.
right, Gladys, come on board.
Yeah.
See you later.
Then thanks so much, Gladys.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for that question,
That's
really.
that's a great question.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
very
much.
much. I'm grateful. Thank you for the answers you gave. Thank you.
You're
Welcome.
welcome.
Yes.
Yeah. So can we have Dr. Samuela Joseph, please?
Hey.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's good to connect with you again, I was going to say Doctor again. It's okay in the making.
Doctor is
Amen.
yes.
Dr. Ige. Yes.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yes.
Well, you have said you don't want us to track and trace your age
Please
with your
don't.
involvement in music, but my encounter with you dates back to the early 2000 when I was one of the official companies for Muson Festival Choir.
Wow.
But it's a long time. I'm sure I can talk about those days. And I'm quite excited with your trajectory as a performer. First, as somebody from the priesthood family, which I also share that lineage. Then,
Yes.
yeah, then into so from choir stall to stage in different stages, clubs, churches, and other concert
And then back
halls,
to the classroom.
and then to the classroom. That is very interesting because I also went through that route from church to concert hall and then back to the classroom.
Yes.
Well, we still get to stage sometimes, but this is where I am interested. When you were in your responses, you talk about your research idea, which is very, very fascinating. And what do I mean? I mean, it looks like you want to explore how the place of popular culture in mediating music education, which is very, very exciting because these are
Yes.
current realities. These are current, phenomenon that we need to, see how we, I don't want to use the word decolonize, but how these ideas of inclusion, diversity, because
Yes.
this Bach Mozart model seems to be seems to be illusionary for the younger generation. I mean, they don't seem to understand it. I'm currently in Germany, and sometimes when you speak to people, they don't even understand. Even the people
Don't relate to it.
they even the people who would think they own Bach and Mozart, they just tell you it's like our uncle. I mean, there's no big deal. So I'm interested in this your research idea, and what a challenge I want to put before you, or the question I want to ask is, I hope it's going to be a research that is intervention based, rather than just be a study that will just just hang in the shelf. I will suggest, if you have not considered it, let it be what we'll call action-based research, or a research
Uplifting,
that is towards
practice-led,
intervention.
action-based.
Yeah, practice-led. And this is very important because of your positionality as somebody who is into reality show. So you have that position, and then a performer, and now a music educator. So it's important. What are the approaches that music educators can take from reality shows, or is there a way that our reality shows can also borrow ideas from music education?
Exactly.
That kind of exchange.
Yes.
In other words, the classroom may not be the sole space where music education, music teaching and learning can take place.
Yes.
And our reality shows also be cognizant, can take into cognizance these ideas, so that when our children, younger people, they watch this reality show, music education continues. So I look forward to reading your project, and I pray that God will grant you the grace to really do the work.
Thank you so much.
The courage, to so you are at a better advantage in terms of your position as somebody who's already in a reality show. You may want to organize seminars where music educators, or even those who organize reality shows, we can come, this collaborative music curriculum kind of, and then you have associations that you can also leverage, your relationship with them. Thank you again. And Dr. Ayorinde, I didn't know that you still comb the piano, as I thought you are still Bach and Mozart. I didn't know that you are back to back.
It is well. We are backing everything on him.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph. Sincerely,
thank you so much.
Yes, it's a passion of mine. I know it's a Herculean task, but it's definitely action-based. Because like I told Dr. Ayorinde, music was a huge part of my formative years, and it's a pity now that there's a dearth of music education in our secondary schools. So what is it that we can do to bring back that joy, that excitement of learning music again into secondary schools? And how can we bring what is relevant to these children back into classrooms? And also, you mentioned a very brilliant point. For the music reality TV shows, those who organize it, if they realize that students are actually watching them to get education, maybe that will also help them to reposition, the way they put music reality TV shows together. So that, I know it's reality TV shows, so they're looking for a show, but maybe they should spend more time on the educative aspect of the reality show, so that they putting in mind that students are actually sitting down to watch to get something from them.
I think that's where your research comes in, because in practice, reality TV shows are owned by business mogul, media house. So they have, it is first of all business before anything. So, but when the kind of work you are doing can actually get into that space, it won't stop the business.
No, it won't.
It won't stop. It won't convert it from profit to non-profit. But it will douse or dent that economic mindset that often inspire creativity into, okay, we are making money from this product. We are also conscious of this, this area, because this category,
developing
this demography
talent,
are actually
Yes,
learning,
learning.
and it's also shaping the creative landscape in a particular way that is sustainable.
It will also relate to the prize money that is being given.
Yeah.
So that apart from giving them prize money and record label
Yeah.
opportunities, you can also say, okay, fine, for 1 year, you go to Muson.
Yeah.
You go to an academy, or you go
Yeah.
somewhere to just learn, if you really want to learn this skill. So it makes them realize that, okay, fine, it's not just about the show and the stardom.
Sure.
It's also about what I am
About
gaining.
the person.
Yes.
Yeah, and the
developing
person's connection to the broader society.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a huge passion of mine, and God helping, we'll get it done.
Definitely. Thanks so much, Dr. Joseph, for
Thank you,
that contributions, and also the suggestions. They are quite,
Thank you.
they are hard.
Definitely.
I hope Sister Dupe will take it.
I have taken it.
Yeah. Yes, can we have another doctor in the making, Joshua David? Can we have you?
Oh.
Hello, good day. I want to go back to a couple of things that you mentioned, sort of to tie together a number of the ideas that you described, and my main focus here is sort of doing a compare and a contrast with what we know to be the crossover culture in the American pop music industry, where you have popular classical music, classical singers, pivoting to popular music. You had the success of the three tenors in the 90s. You had other groups that came out of all of that. You had Il Divo, you had Josh Groban, you had Andre Bocelli, you have all of this. Yeah, so I am working on a couple of things that have to do with the voice and thinking about the crossover culture in Nigeria, and you seem to be the like a perfect example of that type of movement, and listening to you speak about stylistic differences, performative differences in approaching music in those areas. Two questions that I have. The first question is that when you talked about identity, you talked about the fact that the world, quote unquote, now expecting a different thing from, or a different type of style from a singer, or a classically trained singer, if we give it that connotation. My question there would be, if you were to describe your style, because you kept saying my style, this style, that style.
I don't know what my style. You
Exactly.
Tell me what's my style.
If you were to, because like I said, if we can, I don't want to use the term crossover style, because again, that's a very Western influenced term. It has its own long histories, and then the politics of that. There's so much baggage, quote unquote, that comes with that term. So if you were gonna describe it doesn't have to be one word. It could be how you couch yourself to any of these platforms where you function. So that's the first question. If you were to describe your style, what would you describe that style as?
Identity issue.
And that's the first question. The second question would be, again, running away from crossover and some of the other things there. The second question would be the ability to pivot between these various performative dimensions and stylistic dimensions. I heard you talking about high larynx, low larynx, ad libs, vibrato, and all of that. The Nigerian popular music space is a space where, to a very large extent, and I have had the opportunity to also work with quite a number of these popular music guys. The outlook is not necessarily the stylistic, the technical details of the style, like you're mentioning. This is high larynx here, low larynx here. What is really emphasized is the product. It's at the end of the day, this is how this sound comes out. At the end of the day, this is how the other sound comes out, not necessarily what the things behind the scenes and the voice that produces those sounds. So my question there would be, in pivoting between these performative dimensions, what would be the greatest challenge that you have faced in attempting to pivot, not just as a singer, but then as a music educator? Have you had students who were classically trained and then wanted to pivot to other styles, or vice versa, maybe trained or regular contemporary singers wanting to learn classical music? And what's the approach to that type of border crossing, stylistic border crossing? So that's my second question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joshua David. It's my style. If I was going to define my style, I would say I'm a classic singer. Not just necessarily classical, but I love to do ballads, songs, but I will not even limit myself to that, because I do gospel singing. And when we say gospel, we mean the real heavy gospel singing, the gospel genre. There's a difference between the gospel genre and then the church, yes, right? So I would say I do that. I also do classical music. So I don't want to limit myself with a definition. I don't want to box myself in. I don't mind you coming up with the definition for my style of music. I don't mind that. I just know that I love to sing, and I'm a singer, and I know the styles in which I sing in. So to answer your question, if I was going to give myself a definition, I would say I'm a classic singer, but that doesn't even still cover who I am and what I do, right? And then the second part of that is, if you do have a definition, I am so open. I'm open to suggestions, because, I'm open to suggestions. What do you think my style is? You've heard me sing classical, you've heard me sing high life, you've heard me sing jazz here today. So if you were going to come up with a definition, what would it be? Then, 2, have I had students who are from one genre of music and want to cross over to sincerely, I haven't had those kinds of students. It's either you come to me today, you're a classical singer and you want to improve in your classical genre, or you're a contemporary singer, you're a church singer. What I have had students, the most occurring theme that students have always wanted to learn is riffs and runs. I've had students who come and say, well, I'm not very good with riffs and runs. I'm just a normal church singer. Maybe I do praise and worship, but I want to learn how to do riffs and runs. How can you help me with that? That is what, I have seen most of the time. And then you're right that the popular singers, the contemporary, they don't send, whether it is high larynx or low larynx, as long as the output is what they want to hear. But for someone like me, I'm a scholar now, and before even coming into the scholarly world, I've always been very interested in voice. So I've always dabbled into what's the difference between a classical singer and a contemporary singer, or a classical singer and a jazz singer. So for me, those technical terms are for me. Those technical differences are for me, and for whoever wants to learn. I don't go about, trying to say, okay, try and raise your larynx or whatever. I know them for myself, so that when I want to sing, and I want to sing those different genres, I know what to do. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I hope this has answered your questions, Joshua.
Yes, it has. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One last thing. Would you how do I say this? Would you mind if this, because again, you mentioned something, you said classic, and that's fine. my provocation there would be that sometimes it's not necessarily you attempting to box yourself. It's just a form of being able to articulate, the many things, intricacies in between, quite a number of things that you've said. So if I say that you have described your style as classic, would that encapsulate, at least to an extent, and then we can then explain what you mean by classic, and then we can break it down and say you meant you would do this, and all the other technical details that help you navigate the
It's
borders.
the it's
Uh,
the it's the closest thing. In fact, right now I'm dabbling into doing alujo.
Okay.
Sincerely, the real. Are you dancing or what? Are you dancing or what?
Yeah,
What
okay.
are you doing?
I
I
am
am dancing.
dancing.
Do you understand? Because I'm exploring.
yeah.
I'm exploring. But if you say what genres are you more given to? Classical, ballads. So that's why I say classic. But that doesn't even still capture the whole thing. But then, like you said, we can just give it a name and then begin to describe what we mean by that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think we have now moved into the question, discourse of identity again. So the question of, are you a classical? Well, it is 21st century. So it is not uncommon to see this kind of, overlapping or, an incomplete, identity, because many people, also given the social and economic landscape now, people want to, okay, I'm a classical, I can sing classical. So people want to, it's like what they call stacking. You have skill in classical music. Stacking is by the way, stacking is a business term. You have a business skill, one skill, but instead of being stereotyped about it, and you are trying to do up to 10 things and learning little about them. So whenever the needs arise, you act like, for instance, I'm a piano player, I play classical. But in my environment, people are not just playing classical, they want to also sing jazz. They want to sing cabaret, they want to sing
Yes.
music theater. They want a pianist at the club to come and
Yes.
accompany gospel, jazz, all those
They
things.
want a reggae pianist who
Yeah.
just plays the bottom.
Yeah. So because
want
I need
simple,
that
complex.
money and also want to make myself relevant in the scope of things, pianist, piano player, keyboard player, I would definitely delve into. So that is where we are. It's not just about being a singer or classical music singer. It is common to see this today. Even some of the courses in schools abroad, you see initial opera department or classical music department. They are now opening for other forms of singing. Other initially classical program. They are doing jazz. Berkeley College is a typical case. Berkeley used to be known as hub of jazz, but right now they do a lot of stuff, including classical and huge research, right now. So it is responding to ongoing social issue development and the need of people anywhere in the world. So what I will say to that is, I tell people, just call me whatever you think you understand. So are you a classical pianist or not? Well, I don't know myself. I will leave it to you. Define whatever you, just call me the way you see it.
So Josh, call me the way you see it.
Yeah, define me by your own understanding of what I do. So whatever, yeah. So that's, yeah. So we have a few conversations here. Alaba Kesulere, okay. Yeah, do you want to use the mic, Mr. Alaba? Then we also have Olayinka Ogunlade. Hello, Yinka, you want to use the mic? Yeah, just to give them the opportunity in case I want to do. So, Yinka, do you want to use the mic, or I should read your question?
Oh, I don't think Inka is
Please
on
read
it.
my question. I'm unable to speak, please.
Okay, good. So please, how do you help pop singers to overcome vocal tension?
Okay.
And bad habits also.
Okay, so vocal tension.
And bad habits.
Vocal tension and bad habits. Let's go to vocal tension first. Or maybe we should do bad habits first. Like I said, whatever you do with your body affects your voice. So Bad habits like what? Drinking cold water, shouting, bad posture, all of these things, when you realize that they affect your whole body badly, then you would want to make a lifestyle change. You want to make a lifestyle change. You want longevity in your singing career. So if you are focused on that, then it will be very easy for you to drop bad habits, right? So and then for some people, it works cold turkey in the sense that they can drop the bad habit instantly and move on to something good. For some, it's baby steps. So if you're someone who is given to drinking cold water, for instance, all day, every day, and you're a singer, so what I'll do is, okay, so let's do half and half for the first 1 week. Maybe do, the amount of water you take on a regular basis, half of it, let it be ordinary water, half of it, let it be cold water. Baby steps. I'm not a sadist, so I understand some of you need cold water. I really don't need it. Some of you need cold water to survive, but you also have to understand that it's bad for your voice, right? And I hope I'm not talking to anybody who smokes and drinks. I hope not. Please say no. Okay? Because those things are terrible for your lungs, they're terrible for the body, and of course, terrible for the voice. Okay? Now, for vocal tension, I use the straw. The straw is a fantastic tool that I have introduced into my teaching, my classes and all. The straw is part of exercises called semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, SOVT exercises. And what it does is that it helps to alleviate the pressure that we tend to put on our vocal folds and other areas, other muscles of the throat. So when you blow into the straw consistently, making sure that air comes out, consistently through the straw, right? And vocalize softly, and then go to tinier straws. The tinier, the better. The tinier, the more difficult, but the better, right? It really, really helps. So if you're a singer, a pop singer, and you are always putting a lot of strain and pressure on your voice, pick up the straw, start using the straw. Also, you also have to learn how to use your breath management muscles. Most times, most pop singers, they put all the pressure here, gospel singers here. No, the pressure is meant to be in your breath management muscles. Those muscles can take the pressure, right? Not here. So learn how to transfer the pressure to your breath management muscles and to use your muscles here instead of your muscles here. Has that helped? I hope it has.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, let me read a few comments from here. I have one from Alabaki Sulere. Then the first one from him is great dialogue today. Our guest Dupe Kachi has done well today. I think she needs to come back for this dialogue. Okay.
Yay!
Well done, Dr. Sam. I just said okay. Then I think that's just it. Then from Dr. I just say. I think it's to Joshua David. It's always instructive to hear, stylistic boundary crossing could be a response to many issues, including economic, religious, artistic, and artistic relevance. Okay. Then all I've read Onyeka's question. Okay. Then from Gladys, the fact that she sings different genres and doing so well with them makes her very attractive to me as a voice performer.
Aww.
Oh, I really love and appreciate what she is doing. Oh, that's a great compliment from
Thank you,
Gladys. Then, from Dr. Jose, let's have Alujo to close the show.
Are you dancing or what?
Let's have Alujo to close the show.
Dr. Jose, don't set me up, please. Let me do my worship.
You can do Alujo worship. Or you can do worship Alujo.
No. It's a scholarly endeavor. So we're still Ashimaya Bolapo. Dear.
Dr. I himself is an Alujo scholar, Fuji scholar. So it's a good combination to have an Alujo singer and an Alujo scholar.
It is
In
well.
the
It
room.
starts from somewhere. She's coming back. Don't worry. We are going to have a dedicated
Dr. Joshua wants to
session.
set me up from Germany. All the way from Germany.
We are going to have a
said.
dedicated session. Don't worry. Where we are going to do acoustic session on Alujo and other forms. Don't worry. Just look out for that. Yeah. I think let's round off, please. Yes. Let's round off. So, can we have our friends, colleagues, That was the one you were doing the other time. Go. Pam, 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 da, 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 di, da, da, di, do, de. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. Let's F, right?
Okay.
Okay. Friends and colleagues, yes. From the request, I'm not sure we're going to do a video, but I just want to play something. Yeah. So thank you for joining us today. It's been an interesting moment with you. Thanks for the questions, thanks for the engagement, and thanks so much for your patience, for us moving across, different borders. Thank you so much. We are so happy to have you. So again, this is the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. It's a weekly session here at Organ House Seminar and Concert Series. What we do is to engage practical issues like this, and not just engaging. We engage them in a way that further open us or further enable people to do things well. So it's about knowledge. It's about creating substance for people. So join us again next week on the same spot. Yeah. Oh, next week is our reading session. So in a month, we have 3 sessions like this, and every first week of the month, we have what we call reading session. For this session, what we do is to come out with one either article or a book chapter to engage an important idea that can also enable us to know more about things that we do, particularly as a scholar, practitioner, and it's also open to the public. So join us next week, and hopefully we are going to have, Professor Mojola, who was here last week also for the session. So I look forward to see you next week for our reading session. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always nice having you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.